Hey everybody, welcome back to another Markiplier theory, and in this theory, instead of talking about Darkiplier's origins for the 1 millionth time, or trying to convince you yet again that In Space with Markiplier takes place in a whole other universe, instead, we're just talking about the good old man himself, Chef. Because believe it or not, Chef does have lore, he does have backstory, and he does have a couple scenes in Space with Markiplier that brings up a couple of questions. But before we get into all that mess, let's first just talk about his backstory. In Markiplier's I Explain Everything livestream, he explains everything about who killed Markiplier, and there is a certain point in time that I will show up on the screen if you want to go look for yourself, where he does talk about Chef's backstory.
Chef had hopes and dreams, wanted to aspire to be a TV chef or something, and then was stuck in a mansion for ages just because he had to make ends meet.
Probably wanted his own restaurant.
Stereotypical story.
Yeah. His hopes and dreams are dead. It's
Happens
too
to
fast.
so many people.
Yeah.
So Markiplier really just straight up said everything, literally just everything about Chef's lore right then and there. Poor Chef just had his dreams crushed and lost because he couldn't even make enough money to go out on his own and try to attempt to be this famous person or star that he wants to be. Pay your respects, put a F in the comments for Chef. Anyways, this backstory actually explains a lot about Chef's personality and why he's so angry and so grumpy all the time in Who Killed Markiplier. The dude's always grumpy because he spends his everyday life with a super successful and rich man who is able to succeed on his dream, that man being Actor Mark, causing Actor Mark to just be another reminder of how he lost his dreams and how he can no longer be able to achieve them. Now that I'm hearing this, I kind of want the next Markiplier project to have Chef owning his own restaurant or just being his own independent man. That would be a really nice tie-up for his storyline. But anyways, now that we know his lore, there is still one question left about the man himself. How did Chef go from a worker of Actor Mark's to a flat-out kidnapper? In A Date with Markiplier, we see a completely new side of Chef. Now he's evil, and now he likes to pretty much murder people and cook people into his food. And based off of the timeline that we've theorized about, A Date with Markiplier takes place way after Who Killed Markiplier. And if you haven't seen my past theories where I talk about the timeline, just as a quick catch-up, we can also tell that A Date with Markiplier comes after Who Killed Markiplier because of the fact that Darkiplier is in A Date with Markiplier. Meanwhile, Darkiplier literally gets created in Who Killed Markiplier. So if you don't know the Markiplier timeline, or you just don't agree with me on the proof about it, then that is some other proof that's undeniable. So with that information, it is undoubtable that after the events of Who Killed Markiplier, Chef quit working for Actor Mark, which we literally see him quit in the final part, and then he goes on to work at a restaurant from A Date with Markiplier. Although there is a chance that that isn't what happened, but more on that later. When you think about this objectively, it actually kind of does make sense that Chef would turn to a way of anger and murder and all that evil stuff. Whenever we interact with him in Who Killed Markiplier, he already kind of seems like he's well on his way towards that path. Your first impression of him already makes you think that he could have been the one who murdered Actor Mark, and possibly even murder you in the future. So yeah, it would make sense if over time Chef became more and more just slowly driven into madness, almost like a more angry version of Wilfred Wolfstache. However, there is a chance that this isn't the case, and that the Chef from A Date with Markiplier might not be the same Chef as the one from Who Killed Markiplier. Ladies and gentlemen, may I present to you Chef No Way Home. In Space with Markiplier Part 2, we see a restaurant being ran by many different variants of Chef. And based off of Lady's dialogue, we can infer that it is a normal, common thing for people to travel the multiverse. So based off of how many chefs there are, it is most likely that all these chefs came from different universes and kind of all came together to form one restaurant. Although, to be honest, it is still a possibility that all of these chefs are from one universe, since we do see a lot of Markiplier egos in the universe where the Markiplier lore takes place. There is a chance that there's just chef egos in that universe, kind of like how there's Markiplier alter egos in our universe, the Markiplier lore universe. But now you might be asking, why am I bringing up all of this in the first place? What's the point to this? Well, this scene in Space with Markiplier proves to us that there is more than just Markiplier alter egos and Markiplier lookalikes. There can be lookalikes of anybody, and it would be probably completely normal, especially for the Markiplier lore. Nobody ever questions why two people look exactly like the same person, why actor Mark and Damien have the exact same face. Nobody ever questions those things. They just go on with their normal lives. So it's probably normal for other people, including Chef, to have alter egos and lookalikes. Although there is now the possibility that a date with Markiplier Chef and a Who Killed Markiplier Chef aren't the same person, I do think that they still might be the same person, because I do think that my past evidence about things like the similarity between their mental states still adds up. I think that still makes enough sense for both of them to be the same characters. However, there is still one more possibility I want to bring up based off of the In Space with Markiplier clip. So if you do end up getting kidnapped and almost cooked in one of the pathways in a date with Markiplier, then how does Chef manage to pull that off? Surely the workers or the managers or somebody would not appreciate or not stand for Chef doing those things, and that's where this In Space with Markiplier clip comes into play. Let's say that the people running this chef restaurant are different variants of Chef from different universes, meaning that they traveled the multiverse to get here and work alongside other chefs. Don't you think that the said chef brand would end up having more restaurants than just this single one? What if the restaurant that you and Markiplier end up going to in a date with Markiplier, where you end up getting kidnapped by Chef in the first place, is one of the restaurants ran by all chefs? And I know at the beginning we do see other people working there who aren't chef egos, but what if at least the boss or higher up is a chef alter ego or a chef from another universe? That would explain why Chef kidnapped us with pretty much no repercussions. But then again, there is the possibility that just nobody knows Chef kidnapped us. And that's pretty much going to be it for this theory. But before I say the outro, I do want to say that including the Markiplier theory bites, this is my 51st Markiplier related video. Whether it's me ranking the top 10 best Markiplier egos, or also me again trying to figure out what the heck In Space with Markiplier Part 0 is, thank y'all for being here along the ride and watching up to this point. I know I haven't been uploading as much Markiplier content as I used to. I've just gotten into more gaming content as well, but don't worry, I plan on uploading even more Markiplier theories at a more consistent rate from now on. Thank y'all for watching, and thank y'all for sharing the love of Markiplier. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next theory. Goodbye.